Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Dalton State College. I go ahead and speak a little bit softer. I noticed that was a little loud, Megan. Isn't that right? So we'll be good. This ceremony will begin in about 5 minutes. Go ahead and please find your seat, and go ahead and take this opportunity to silence the cell phones, get comfortable. To everybody coming near or far from the Dalton State community, thank you and welcome to Dalton State College. We'll begin in 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the processional and remain standing for the presentation of the colors and the national anthem performed by Mrs. Mallory Safely, Dr. Nick Gawecki, and Dr. Forrest Blackburn. As a reminder, gentlemen should remove their head coverings during the national anthem. You may please be seated. Please welcome Mr. Harold Reynolds, Chair of the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia.
Thank you very much. John, prepared remarks or written? Anyway, as Chairman of the University System of Georgia's Board of Regents, I have the honor of welcoming you as we commemorate this investiture of President John M. Fuchko III and this next chapter of Dalton State College. I want to just tell a quick little story. My first time I met John was when I was a new board member, and John's responsibility was compliance and ethics. And he was there to help us. And what I found out right away, John would tell you what you needed to hear, sometimes not necessarily what you wanted to hear. And I'm really glad he did. He probably kept me out of a lot of trouble. And I suspect that John will do the same thing here. Whether it be doing things or talking to you, he'll tell you what he believes you need to hear, not always what you want to hear. And I think in fairness, you should do the same for John, because anyone in a leadership position needs to hear back from others. And I know John's the kind of guy who would welcome that. So this is a great day for the system, for Dalton State community in Northwest Georgia. John is a president who understands that leadership is as much about collaboration as it is about leading. With almost 23 years in the National Guard, John has experience working on a team to put together the best plan, one that prioritizes quality ideas and communication. In nearly 18 years with the USG, he has invested in the future of our institutions, which he knows hinges on our students' success. He said in the past that a successful, thriving region will have an institution of higher education attached to it in some way. And that's what we're seeing here today. So how do I know John is looking to the future of Dalton State and the students? Well, he brought a lot of them with him. His goals are centered on student success, growth of the college, and the future economy of the region. In addition to growth in enrollment, there are plans to partner with Georgia Northwestern Tech and Georgia Highlands, which will further connect this region and move it forward. With an eye toward the future, John knows the college experience is just one part of the student's journey. Just as critical is their connection to the community, to the workforce. During his tenure, we've already seen an increase in enrollment, which John has attributed to the wonderful community, faculty, and staff of Dalton State. And it doesn't hurt when students themselves are touting their experience in publications like the Wall Street Journal. Today we celebrate a president aligned with his campus. John is deeply committed to Dalton State College, and we know Dalton State College will thrive with his leadership. President Fuchko, please accept our best wishes. We look forward to cheering you on and seeing the continued success of the Roadrunner Nation. I now would like to invite Father Louis Rubada to this podium to lead us in the invocation.
O Lord Jesus Christ, risen from the dead, only begotten Son of your eternal Father, who sent us the Holy Spirit. You have said with your holy lips, without me, you can do nothing. O Lord, embracing your words with our hearts and souls, we submit to your goodness and implore you this morning to have mercy on your servant, Dr. John Fuchko, as he is invested as president of Dalton State College. Give to him every good gift necessary for exercising his responsibilities as president, and grant to him your virtues of charity, courage, humility, and prudence, so that he may be an example of your justice to those in his care. Banish from him all attacks of the evil one, and keep his path undisturbed, so that he may complete his work in peace and joy. May he ever look to you, our God, for guidance and wisdom. May your holy name be always on his lips, and may your true light shine through his heart. Grant this together with your eternal Father and your most Holy Spirit, now and ever and forever. Amen.
We are honored to have several state and local officials bring greetings and salutations to President Fuchko and the Dalton State community. First, let's have a special video greeting from Governor Brian Kemp.
This is Governor Brian Kemp. On behalf of the state of Georgia, I'm honored to congratulate Dr. John Fuchko on his investiture as president of Dalton State College. As Georgia continues to experience record economic growth, we will need institutions like Dalton State to help students seize the opportunities available to them. The people of North Georgia depend on Dalton State to provide them quality higher education and the skills they need to unlock a life of success. As these communities have grown, this school has grown alongside them, helping fill an essential role. I'm confident under President Fuchko's leadership, Dalton State College will remain an invaluable part of North Georgia and our entire state. Congratulations again, and I hope you enjoy the ceremony.
We thank Governor Kemp. The Honorable Tricia Pridemore, Chair of the Georgia Public Service Commission, will offer the next greeting.
Good morning. My name is Tricia Pridemore, and I am proud to serve on the Georgia Public Service Commission, where every day we regulate Georgia's utilities. In other words, I'm responsible for keeping the lights on. Now you might think to yourself, the electricity is working, the lights are on, why in the world would they let this lady come up here and provide welcome remarks for Dr. John Fuchko's investiture ceremony? See, before Dr. Fuchko was a colonel in the United States Army National Guard, before he earned his doctorate degree in education from the University of Georgia, before he spent 20 years in distinguished service to the state's university system, before he was married to Cherie, and they had 12 awesome children together, John Fuchko and I went to college and earned our undergrads together. Along with Cherie and Chief Justice Nels Peterson, John and they were, by the way, the smartest kids in class, and we all competed for grades, projects, and university opportunities against one another. We worked hard in the classroom and on campus in every activity, except sports, that there is on campus. After undergrad, John took that same dedication, integrity, commitment to excellence, and strong work ethic each and every place that he went. In the over 25 years we've known each other, I've always been proud to call John a friend and a colleague. He makes every place he works better, which I am certain that he will do for Dalton State and the greater Dalton metropolitan area. I look forward to seeing all that he accomplishes, and I also look forward to helping him in any way that I can. Congratulations, Dr. Fuchko. Cherie, your family, you are certainly jewels in Georgia's crown. Thank you.
Next, we welcome Senator Chuck Payne of Georgia's 54th District.
Thank you, and welcome to faculty, students, and staff, and guests. This is a great occasion, and it's a great honor for me to be able to stand here with you today. Dr. Fuchko, I'd like to say congratulations to you, sir, and on your being appointed as President of Dalton State College on October 6th of this past year. But today we all gather for this investiture with purpose and commitment. Yesterday, we gathered to recall the history of Dalton State College, recalling the accomplishments of those who had come before in making Dalton State College what it is today. Today, we all gather in our collective commitment to Dalton State College and in the hope that one day, years from now, people might gather to remember us, to remember our time. This day in history of Dalton State College. Dr. Fuchko, as we often say in the Georgia State Senate, Mr. President, I speak on behalf of the Northwest Georgia's legislative delegation to say we all stand with you and look forward to the achievements and the continued story of making Dalton State College the envy of the university system of Georgia. May God bless this time and certainly our collective efforts. Congratulations, sir.
Next, we welcome Representative Casey Carpenter of Georgia's 4th District.
That'll probably be the only time in my career that I upseat a Supreme Court justice, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. It is an honor to be here on this stage in such an important time in the history of our great institution. Throughout my lifetime, Dalton State has provided educational opportunities to the individuals of Northwest Georgia and provided our community with an educated workforce that helps make it successful. Early conversations with John made it apparent that he is laser focused on making sure that our students are ready to fill the many diverse jobs our communities have to offer. I cannot wait to see where he takes this university over the next decade, but I have no doubt that a man with 12 children can run this organization effectively and efficiently. We are grateful for his attitude, his energy, and his determination to take Dalton State to the next level. John, I cannot wait to see you grow old and gray in Whitfield County. Thank you for bringing a swath of voters to our community. Good luck and God bless.
Our next speaker is the Honorable Charlie Bethel, who serves as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Georgia.
Well, Casey, I'm obviously sorry to have cut in front of you. I just, when you follow in line, I just thought I was next, and I apologize for that. Welcome to a great day in Northwest Georgia. I am here to bring greetings on my own behalf and those of the Chief Justice, Michael Boggs, and the judicial branch of Georgia, as a branch which exists really for the sole purpose of preserving the rule of law. We are grateful for an educated populace because a people cannot govern themselves who are not informed, who are not educated. And so we say a word of thanks to the work of the Board of Regents, the university system, Dalton State, and Dr. Fuchko for providing educated citizenry, which is essential to the preservation of the rule of law. Now, my welcome also comes with a warning because I am a child of Northwest Georgia. And I think it is appropriate that Dr. Fuchko know that these mountains have stood witness to generations of human activity. From the First Nations, which culminated in the great civilization of the Cherokee, to the Ulster Scots who came and settled through Appalachia, to the immigrants that came to our community from places like Michigan and Michoacan to build our flooring industry. Mr. President, I want you to know, these people are not easily governed. But that is not the same as saying that they are not easily led. If you provide us a vision of how our lives and those of our children can benefit from your work and give us the opportunity to participate in the effort through the sweat of our brow, the ingenuity of our minds, and our entrepreneurial spirit, we will succeed as we have for generations. We thank you for committing to our community, and I promise you this community is excited about your leadership. We welcome you.
In addition to serving as our president, Dr. Fuchko serves as a colonel in the Georgia Army National Guard, and we are honored to have Major General Tom Cardin, Adjutant General of the Georgia National Guard, bring greetings today.
Good morning, everyone. I can't tell you how honored and humbled I am just to be in the same space with you today to bring our greetings on behalf of the Georgia National Guard. You know, as many of you know, Dr. Fuchko has a wide range of experience. Much of that experience actually lies outside of academia. I'm probably a little biased, but I believe those experiences will complement what he brings to Dalton State College. Dr. Fuchko is truly a special leader who brings theory and practice together. I've served with and around Dr. Fuchko for decades, and I can assure you that he'll make everybody around him just a little bit better every day. Having sent 2 of my own children off to college, I'm excited for the parents, the faculty, and especially the students that will have the opportunity to interact with Dr. Fuchko. Now, I've been serving for almost 38 years, and I've worked with managers, and I've worked with leaders. And Dr. Fuchko, you have a president that is adept at managing processes, but he's even more passionate about leading people. He spent a large part of his adult life preparing soldiers for combat. Fortunately for us, Dr. Fuchko will continue in that endeavor for as long as we can keep him in the Georgia National Guard. At the same time, fortunately for all of you, he'll be right here preparing future leaders for our communities, for our state, and our nation. God bless you all. God bless the state of Georgia, United States of America. Congratulations, Dr. Fuchko.
Next, we welcome Dalton Mayor Annalee Harlan Sams to bring greetings.
Good morning. On behalf of the City of Dalton, it is my privilege to be here this morning. When I first met Dr. Fuchko about 6 months ago, Anna Adamson and I had lunch with him. I had 2 takeaways from that lunch. This gentleman is going to get things done. That gave me a very good feeling, and I have the utmost confidence in what lies ahead for this community. The second key thought I had is if I or the city are not getting things done, he is quickly going to let all of us know. The City of Dalton is actively investing in our future for the decades ahead. It has been evident to me, and I would imagine for all of you in this room, that Dalton State has made that very intentional choice as well, and it has made a very wise choice in investing in its future with a leader like Dr. John Fuchko. Dalton State is shaping Dalton's future by educating the leaders for this community for the decades to come. And I have every confidence that the stewardship of Dr. Fuchko will yield graduates who are committed to excellence and understand the hard work that is required for success. As we look ahead to a very bright future for Dalton State and all of Northwest Georgia, I know Dr. Fuchko will keep making good things happen for this community. Dr. Fuchko, we are so glad that you are here.
grateful to the Dalton Whitfield Community Band for participating in today's ceremony. Thank you. The next group of greetings includes representatives from the Board of Regents, presidents from other colleges and universities, and members of the Dalton State community. First, we welcome Regent Lori May of the University System of Georgia Board of Regents and Chair of the Dalton State College Presidential Search Committee.
Good morning. Today, as a member of the University System of Georgia's Board of Regents, I am honored to join Chairman Harold Reynolds in celebrating and commemorating the investiture of President John M. Fuchko III. As chair of the Campus Search Committee, I'm especially excited to be with you today. As many of you know, John Fuchko has participated in all levels of our university system as a USG student, as a USG parent, as a system office leader and interim university president, and now as president at Dalton State. As interim president at Dalton State, President Fuchko pledged to hold steady the campus community and prepare for the next president, focusing on things like maintaining enrollment. But under his short tenure, enrollment didn't just stabilize, it grew by 7%. And as it turns out, although we conducted a national search, we didn't have to look far. It was clear from the moment that John set foot on campus that he was committed to this college, the prosperity of its students, faculty, staff, and the community. John's invested in the long-term economic development of Northwest Georgia, and it is evident for all that know him. You may have heard him speak about his concrete optimism that through continued student success and attentiveness to the goals and needs of community employers, Dalton State will continue to make an economic impact on our region and state. He is committed to improving degree programs and graduating students with skills to help our regional workforce grow. And Dalton State is well equipped to support these ambitions. Among its efforts to prepare students for life after college, the school has more than 1,800 experiential learning opportunities, giving students hands-on learning opportunities outside the classroom and directly in their communities. His work, coupled with the high rate of student graduating debt-free with a job waiting on them when they graduate, speaks to the crucial role Dalton State plays in the lives of students and employers in Northwest Georgia. I cannot think of a better president to continue pushing this institution and these initiatives forward than Dr. Fuchko. He is incredibly passionate about the success of everyone here, as well as the businesses and communities of Northwest Georgia. I cannot wait to see what he has on tap next for us. President Fuchko, we look forward to supporting you and celebrating all you accomplish. Congratulations.
Representing the Research University sector of the University System of Georgia, Dr. Jerry Moorhead, President of the University of Georgia, will bring greetings.
Good morning. On behalf of the University of Georgia, I bring greetings and congratulations to Dalton State on the investiture of Dr. John Fuchko as the 6th president of this great institution. The University of Georgia is proud to be the birthplace of public higher education in America, but we are especially proud to count President Fuchko among our distinguished alumni. He is a dear friend and a trusted colleague. His exemplary record of leadership in the University System of Georgia and the Army National Guard position him well to embrace the many opportunities ahead at Dalton State. Dalton State is an outstanding institution, and it plays a critical role in expanding the reach and impact of higher education in the state of Georgia. At UGA, we value our partnership with Dalton State as we jointly promote excellence in teaching and learning, serving our communities, and helping students achieve their full potential. Together, we are working to ensure a brighter future for all in Georgia and beyond. Thank you for including the University of Georgia in this momentous event. I know under President Fuchko's extraordinary leadership, the Dalton State community will continue to prosper. Thanks so much.
Representing the regional comprehensive sector of the university system, Dr. Kyle Marrero, president of Georgia Southern University, will bring greetings.
Good morning and greetings. On behalf of the comprehensive sector of university presidents representing Valdosta State University, the University of West Georgia, Kennesaw State University, and the home of the Eagle Nation, Georgia Southern University, of which I am the 14th president. I've known Dr. John M. Fuchko III since entering the university system of Georgia in 2013. Now, as you've heard, Dr. Fuchko has held leadership roles at the system office, most recently served as the interim president at Columbus State University, and today is being invested as your president, the 6th president of Dalton State College. Well, when I first met John, he was the chief audit officer of the university system of Georgia. And I'll just say, it wasn't a call or a long-term relationship you inherently wanted to cultivate. In fact, a call from John was probably not going to be great news. But what I quickly found out that John Fuchko is a person who deeply cares about doing things right, about continuously improving, about finding the most effective and efficient process to accomplish any goal, and always, and I repeat the word always, acted with the outcome and success of students in mind, and our responsibility and accountability as a state agency to serve our communities in this great state of Georgia. Clearly, his service to our nation, now with over 2 decades serving the Georgia National Guard, and his current rank of colonel is a testimony to his commitment and dedication to service above self. Now, through our work together over a 2-year period with the Comprehensive Administrative Review, we drove the back roads of Georgia, visiting all 26 institutions in John's red pickup truck. And I have to say, I learned a lot about John's taste in music. And I also have to say, with all his many gifts and talents, singing is not one of them. I am grateful for my colleague John, his friendship, our shared faith. We pray for each other. I pray for his family, his wife Cherie, and their 3,000 children. You're president now, you can exaggerate numbers. It's okay, all right? All to say, Dr. John M. Fuchko III is an extraordinary person, an impactful leader, and Dalton State College is indeed fortunate to have him as their 6th president. Congratulations, President Fuchko, and congratulations, Dalton State College.
Representing the State University sector, Dr. Stuart Rayfield, president of Columbus State University, will bring greetings, followed by Dr. Marion Fedrick, president of Albany State University.
Good morning. It's my honor to offer my welcome and best wishes to Dr. John Fuchko on his amazing journey as the next president of Dalton State College. I had prepared remarks already put together, but I kind of threw those out the window a little bit after I was able to hear Christine Lilly yesterday speak on our campus. You all may know her as one of the most decorated female soccer players on the women's national team in history. She's played in 5 World Cups and 3 Olympics, but this is not about her. But yesterday I heard her speak, and there was a question from the audience from a young player who asked, what does it take to be noticed and to be selected for the women's national team? She said there were 2 things that stood out, and one of those was to be unique, to stand out among everyone else. The other thing she said is she lived by the acronym RAD, and she said it didn't come from California during the 80s, but it meant responsibility, accountability, and discipline. And as I listened to her, I reflected on whether or not these same ideas applied to a college president, and I think they do. There are no cookie cutter college presidents, and I think that is reflected by the handful who sit on this stage representing different institutions. John, you do not fit a mold of a college president. None of us do. Your uniqueness lies in both your own experiences and the way you think. I learned how unique John was when we all got our emergenetics profiles back, and he was that rare unicorn of a quad who had thinking preferences across all 4 of the dimensions. John shows up differently in all facets of his life because he brings a unique perspective from his own life experiences, but also he thinks differently. Dalton State will be the beneficiary of this unique perspective. Thinking of the words responsibility, accountability, and discipline, I think these are very appropriate words for a college president, and how perfect they are in their adjective form to describe John. John's very nature is to be responsible, accountable, and disciplined. But what isn't mentioned in Christine Lilly's advice on making the women's national team is vision. And John is a visionary leader who sees possibility and also brings people along with him. That part of who you are served Columbus State University well and will continue to serve Dalton State College well in the future. But I can't represent Columbus State without talking about servant leadership. So I want to leave you with Robert Greenleaf's definition of servant leadership and the best test, which I think John absolutely answers in the affirmative. Robert Greenleaf says, the servant leader is servant first. It begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve first. Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead. That person is sharply different than the one who is leader first. He goes on to say that the difference manifests itself in the care taken by the servant first to make sure that other people's highest priority needs are being served. The best test, and difficult to administer, is do those people that are being served, do they grow as persons? Do they, while being served, become healthier, freer, wiser, more autonomous, and more likely themselves to become servants? This is the essence of being a college president. Understanding the mission, understanding and taking care of the students' needs, and enabling them to become healthier, freer, wiser, more autonomous, and more likely themselves to become servants. John, you are well prepared and well suited to do this work. Congratulations and best wishes.
Good morning. Dr. Fuchko, thank you for inviting me to the stage to give greetings, which I was very surprised at because there are so many stories I could tell. Chancellor, you would be surprised. As with most employees, I met John about 15 years ago. I had just begun with the Board of Regents, and when I was announced, Dr. Fuchko was the first person to reach out to me with a LinkedIn message, a welcome email, and then multiple other emails. Some of them I did ignore. And as with most employees, when you come in, you have so much work to do that you are steeped in trying to get that done. And at the University System of Georgia, I actually spent hours after work trying to get things done. John was on deployment at the time. And one evening, as I'm sitting there trying to work through this mountain of work, I see this flurry of fatigues just walk by my office. And then the fatigues turned back. That was John Fuchko. He sat in the office with me that night more than 2 hours to tell me so much, to share with me the context, put things in context, tell me about things that I needed to do that I hadn't started to do yet, to talk about people that I needed to speak with, those that I needed to stay away from, policies that I needed to read. He actually had them in his hand. I don't know how he got them in the desert, but he brought them with him. He brought so much energy into the room that evening, I thought, wow, he's a great person to know as well. And normally as I go through all of these things, I think through how do I keep that person in my life to make sure that we do get things done and that we work together in the same realm. When I started my dissertation, my doctorate degree at University of Georgia, Dr. Fuchko was the first person that I called. And I called him to say, tell me about your experience. Within 15 minutes, while we were still on the phone, Dr. Fuchko sent me about 5 other dissertations that he absolutely expected me to read. He told me they would help me in this process and wanted to make sure that I absolutely graduated with honors from the University of Georgia. And although I have 3 degrees, that's the first time I graduated with honors. His unselfishness, his leadership, his ability to say, let me get you in the right direction. Yes, he was an auditor, but he is an auditor with the heart of gold. And so for those of you who have worked with him, and you know that John tells us a lot of things that we don't want to hear, just know that he knows you're not listening. He's going to continue to tell you, and he's going to continue to repeat it to make sure that he did not fail at his job. And Dr. Fuchko, I'm going to say one last thing. As I woke up in this beautiful town this morning, looking at the mountains, I figured I need to go ahead and put my soul at peace. I need you to know that there were many days that I showed up at the University System of Georgia just to aggravate you. When you have someone who is 99.9% of the correct most of the time, which is Dr. Fuchko, you always want to shake him. However, Dr. Fuchko never took the bait. He never took the bait, and there are people in this room, Justice, that would say absolutely he didn't take the bait. But that shows you his servant leadership. He absolutely is. And the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you so much. I've always been amazed at the work that you do, at you being a husband, a father, a brother, a leader, and a friend. Good luck, Dalton State College. You have a great leader. Be careful as you break them in. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Representing the State College sector, Dr. Mike Hobbs, president of Georgia Highlands College, will bring greetings.
It's absolutely a pleasure and an honor to be asked to be here to bring greetings from the state sector and all of our colleagues and professionals who make up the best sector in the University System of Georgia. We are the sector that goes the extra mile. And let me tell you, Dalton State, you have hit a grand slam with John Fuchko. It's a privilege to speak to you today during the investiture of President Fuchko, and for whom I'll be forever grateful. Many of you know President Fuchko for his amazing military service, his storied higher education background, a loyal, loving husband, an amazing father to 12 brilliant children, a God-fearing man who sets an example for so many, including myself. Without a doubt, most everyone holds President Fuchko in the highest esteem, and what you've heard today is just a testimony to that. But I don't want to talk about my colleague, John Fuchko, or Dr. Fuchko today. Today I want to talk to you a little bit deeper about my friend, John. I was invited to spend an evening at the Fuchko household as a new president and went there and had one of the best times in my life. I was away from home, I didn't have my family here, and his family welcomed me in and made me feel like that I belonged. It was a moment in time for me that was a little challenging. As you see, the next morning, I was going to see my sister, who I had not seen in more than 10 years. She had passed away, and I had not seen her gravesite since the day that we left. In a moment that was challenging and a little scared, John and Sherry and the family welcomed me in. We ate, we roller skated, we collected, we talked about gems, my new bestie, Cece. I brought her some extra ones last night. All 12 of his kids have an amazing project that they're all working on, and it was my honor to be part of that family that night. It was deeply and personally, emotionally, and meaningful experience. The Fuchkos welcomed me in, and at the end of the night, we stood in a circle, and we held hands, and we said the Lord's Prayer. And then at the end of that, we said a prayer for my sister, which was specifically targeted towards her. Now, for the rest of my life, every time I say the Lord's Prayer, which is very, very often, I'm standing back in that circle holding the hands of the Fuchkos and being part of their family. Some people might find John intimidating. I know I sure did. The first time I met him, wow, this guy is brilliant. Scared me a little bit. But what I soon found out after that was that he was a friend to me. He would reach out, talk to me, tell me the things I should do, the things I shouldn't do. He calls and checks on me in times of trouble. We try to eat dinner once a month, but that's been getting interrupted because you've been a little busy. But we're going to start that back. But I can tell you that he and his entire family is here to serve this community, serve its students, serve its business and industry, but even better than that, to service you. He's going to be here for you. As a colleague, I can confidently tell you that without a doubt that John will do a tremendous job for Dalton State. As a friend, I can confidently tell you that John cares about you and wants the best for you. He'll be there for you always. He'll go out of his way to look after you and to help you succeed and meet your goals. This moment is one of the great significance, not only for Dalton State, but for the entire community it serves, as well as the University System of Georgia. You are about to witness some amazing things that this man and his family is going to bring here, but do it along the side of you. As we embark on this new chapter under President Fuchko's leadership at Dalton State, let us remember the power of community, empathy, and a shared purpose. Together, let's strive to uphold the values of excellence, inclusivity, and integrity that defines our institutions. But mostly important, let's remember what it takes to be a good friend. And let's be good friends to as many people as you can, because John is going to do that. Congratulations, President Fuchko. May your tenure be marked by inspiration, innovation, and a profound impact that you've had on so many lives. John, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your friendship, your mentoring, and I can't wait to see all the accomplishments that you bring as you chase your dreams and impact so many lives as you've impacted mine.
Next, we welcome Mr. Chip Howalt, Chair of the Dalton State College Foundation Board of Trustees, for greetings.
Good morning. When I saw Dr. Fuchko this morning for the first time, I told him I was most anxious to see the family section. Cherie, thank you and your family for allowing John to do this and for helping him make this decision. You now have a much larger family, but thank you. I'd like to start by thanking Chancellor Perdue, his staff, the regents, particularly Regent Lowry May, who led our Presidential Search Selection Committee, and also Chair Reynolds for their strong support and for ultimately selecting Dr. John Fuchko as Dalton State College's 6th president. Now, President Fuchko, I'm honored to bring greetings and congratulations on behalf of the Dalton State Foundation Board of Trustees and our family of donors who support Dalton State College. In 1967, a group of 50 men and women, business and civic leaders from across Northwest Georgia joined together to charter the Dalton Junior College Foundation. Their stated purpose was to promote in various ways the cause of higher education, to expand educational opportunities, and to acquire and administer funds which shall be devoted to these purposes. That is still our mission in 2024. The foundation plays a role for the college that is in our very name. We are a supporting structure, an underlying strength for the institution we all gather to celebrate today with your investiture. Since our beginning alongside the college, the foundation, through the generosity and vision of its donors, many of whom are in the room today, we have been a catalyst for so many advances on campus. We continue to play that part today with our vigorous support for a newly announced President's Innovation Fund. Through the efforts of David Elrod, donors who share our belief in Dr. Fuchko's leadership and his vision for the future of Dalton State College and the countless benefits it can deliver to Northwest Georgia, have already contributed more than $250,000 to this new fund. Dr. Fuchko is self-described as biased towards action. We hope this President's Innovation Fund will serve as both a welcoming gift and a tool to promote action. On behalf of the Foundation Board, we pledge our enthusiastic support for this institution and the entire campus community, and we are proud to work in concert with Dr. John Fuchko as the 6th President of Dalton State College. Thank you.
Ms. Laura Alton, a 2020 graduate of Dalton State College and president of Society 63, Dalton State's Alumni Association, will bring greetings on behalf of the alumni.
Good morning, all. It is my honor to attend this momentous occasion on behalf of Society 63, Dalton State's Alumni Association. Since Dalton State opened its doors, students from the greater Dalton area, from the state of Georgia, the United States, and all across the globe have had the opportunity to learn and become leaders under great examples of leadership set forth by Dalton State's presidents. In his tenure thus far at Dalton State, President Fuchko has shown his commitment to Dalton State students, past, present, and future. I know President Fuchko will boldly lead our beloved institution in the years to come. And it seems like a theme here today about servant leadership. Alumni like myself, students now, and the students to come, will look to him as an excellent example of a servant leader. Congratulations on your investiture as Dalton State's newest president, Dr. Fuchko. I look forward to learning and leading alongside you as president of Society 63.
Dr. Hussein Mohammed, president of Dalton State College's Faculty Senate, will bring greetings on behalf of our faculty.
Good morning. Dear fellow Dalton State faculty and honored guests, as the president of Dalton State Faculty Senate and on behalf of the Faculty Senate members and the full faculty members body, it's my distinct privilege and honor to extend a warm congratulations to the new president of Dalton State, Dr. John Fuchko. As we gather here today to witness the investiture of Dr. John Fuchko, we look forward to the continuation of the shared governance and are confident in Dr. Fuchko's role in fostering the academic missions of our college and preparing our students to serve and succeed in their respective fields. I extend my best wishes to Dr. Fuchko and his ability to help the college flourish, empowering our community to reach the new heights of excellence. Congratulations again, Dr. Fuchko, the new president of Dalton State. Congratulations to Dalton State faculty and staff. And may this ceremony mark the beginning of the new era of prosperity and distinctions of Dalton State. Thank you so much.
Ms. Amanda Smith, interim chair of Dalton State College's Staff Council, will bring greetings on behalf of our staff.
President Fuchko, it is my honor and privilege on behalf of Staff Council to extend heartfelt congratulations on this momentous occasion marking a new era of leadership. On a more personal note, my grandfather was a leader at Cornett Carpets here in Dalton. My parents attended Dalton Junior College. I attended Dalton College, and my son attended Dalton State College. For 3 generations, this institution and Roadrunner spirit has touched the lives of my family. So today is especially meaningful for me to be up here. Almost a year ago, Dalton State began soliciting feedback from stakeholders prior to embarking on a presidential search. We said the president will be an empowering force, fostering connectivity and belonging while creating an environment where opinions of faculty, staff, and students are solicited both informally and formally through Student Government Association, Faculty Senate, and Staff Council. We asked for an enthusiastic visionary who is approachable and compassionate. Your unwavering commitment to service and collaboration is consistent with our needs, as you have recently made tremendous efforts to ensure we are heard and have the opportunity to be engaged in decision-making processes through shared governance. You understand the importance of faculty and staff excellence its relationship to student success, and the connectedness of both to the stakeholders and the communities that Dalton State serves. You stated, higher education is one of the most effective ways to positively impact the lives of others, transforming generations of families just as it has in my own family. President Fuchko, you embody so many of the desired qualities that we identified and we asked for. We said that we were ready to make a bold move with this transition, and now we are eager to go forth and do far-reaching work together as you boldly lead us in this next chapter of Dalton State's history. Congratulations again, President Fuchko.
Mr. Mackenzie Manley, who earned his associate degree in nursing in 2023 and is pursuing his bachelor's degree, will bring greetings on behalf of the Dalton State College Student Government Association and our students.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Manley, and I have the honor and privilege of being a two-time student body president of Dalton State College. And it is with that same honor and privilege that I, on behalf of all students, get to welcome you all here today to celebrate Dr. Fuchko's investiture as Dalton State's 6th president. Today not only marks a historical day for Dr. Fuchko and his family, but for the college as well. I want to start off by expressing my utmost gratitude to Chancellor Perdue and Regent May and all those individuals who assisted in giving us a president who not only exceeds expectations on paper, but someone who lives and breathes out his passion for higher education in everything that he does. I promise you here and now, if you were to ask anyone on this campus how much Dr. Fuchko has facilitated and overseen such positive change in a short amount of time, any one of them could provide you an extended list that continues to be updated by the day. I had the privilege of meeting Dr. Fuchko on the first day he visited this campus, and from the very first conversation, I knew that he had such a profound priority in the student experience. And since then, I have seen him provide this same experience not only to all other students on campus, but to the faculty and staff as well. Dalton State is not just a place, a person, or even a thing, but rather an entity of connection for all the individuals on this campus and the community as a whole. And it is with my utmost honor and respect that I get to express how excited I am for this college to grow, prosper, and excel in everything that it does under Dr. Fuchko's leadership. Thank you everyone for being here today, and thank you Dr. Fuchko for everything that you have and will continue to do for this college. Congratulations to you, your family, and go Roadrunners. Thank you.
And now, to conclude these special greetings, President Fuchko's eldest son, JJ, will bring greetings on behalf of the Fuchko family.
Well, I'd feel weird calling you Dr. John M. Fuchko III. So on behalf of all the siblings, I'm just going to stick with Papa. Too many fathers today don't give their kids much more than a reason not to try and an excuse to fail. But Papa, with everything you've given us, most importantly, an example, I think we all know that we have no other excuse than to be the best that we can be. The simplest thing I can think of to speak to how you serve as an example to us and a father is, I think there's only so many people who have memories of their fathers cooking as well as their mothers. I'd venture to say my siblings and I are the only people in Georgia who will have memories of our father, colonel, doctor, president's cooking. Papa, you're not the type of person for whom life just happens. You're the type of person that makes it happen. I think I speak for everyone here when I say we're so excited to see what you make happen at Dalton State College. You're not content knowing who you are. I know you won't be satisfied just doing everything you have to do here, but you'll only be satisfied if you're doing everything you can do here. And I know that that won't stop with you, because in 23 years of experience behind the scenes, seeing all the phone calls, all the emails, all the invitations to our house, all the lunch meetings, I know that you will inspire this same virtue and everyone else around you. I'm happy for you. I'm very excited to see what you're going to do. I think the whole family's happy, and I think I can safely speak for everyone when I say we're all very excited to see what you are going to make happen at Dalton State College. Congratulations, Papa.
We welcome the Honorable Nels Peterson, the presiding justice of the Supreme Court of Georgia and a longtime personal friend, to introduce President Fuchko.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here, and that is going to be impossible to follow. So well done, well done. Dr. John M. Fuchko III is the reason that I'm allergic to bees. In fairness, this isn't something he inflicted on me recently. I won't go into the gory details, but let's just say we've been close friends for a long time. And boys of a certain age have a tendency to hit things with sticks and to be fairly indiscriminate in their choice of targets. Sometimes, unknown to the stick wielder, that target happens to be attached to a nest of yellow jackets. And the stick-wielding future Dr. Colonel President Fuchko was a slightly faster runner than I was. Well, over the next 30-something years, our frontal lobes developed, we became functioning adults, and John became more discriminating about what he hit with sticks. In college, just down I-75 at Kennesaw State, we became even closer friends. John was a year ahead of me. As a sophomore, he was editor-in-chief of the student newspaper and then ran for one of the student government vice president seats for his junior year. I ran for another, and somehow we won. The next year, he won the presidency, and I was his vice president. He simultaneously served as chair of the university system's student government, the Student Advisory Council of the Board of Regents, where, perhaps forecasting things to come, he made the occasional presentation to the board. Although, given the mayhem we caused that year, I would not have put money on this day ever happening. I still vividly remember the call he got one day from the governor's chief of staff demanding that we be in his office in an hour. I encourage those of you on student government to ask him about that someday. During these days, John met and became close friends with Cherie, also an editor-in-chief of the student newspaper, and they got married. Single best decision he has ever made. Cherie is a remarkable lady and a good friend. And then came the children, of whom you have heard a fair bit already. Sasha, JJ, Hannah Grace, Michael, Nicholas, Laura, Ava Joy, Matthew, Cece, Will, Juliana, and Ignatius. Now, not all at once. And we've heard a lot about numbers, but as you just saw, he doesn't just have a lot of children. They have a lot of incredible children. They are unbelievable parents who have raised unbelievable kids in addition to all the other things that they have accomplished. The sacrifices that John and Cherie have made to do what they have done and still be present and engaged parents for each of their children is nothing short of inspiring. And frankly, the sacrifices that their children have made to allow all of those things to have happened. And for that matter, as you have heard before, the entire family has made significant sacrifices for our country. Because beginning in college and continuing throughout his very successful civilian career in higher education, John has served with distinction in the Georgia National Guard. Colonel Fuchko has commanded 5 times and presently commands the 122nd Regiment Regional Training Institute. He's deployed twice to the Middle East for extended periods. And then there's all the other stuff he can't talk about. That's just how it goes for intelligence officers. And the sacrifices the Fuchko family has made for our country don't end with Colonel Fuchko's service either, as his children now serving in uniform demonstrate. On the civilian side, Dr. Fuchko has served the university system for the better part of 2 decades. He's had a wide range of roles before beginning his time here at Dalton State, including in 2 different vice chancellor roles in the system office and interim president at Columbus State University. During his second deployment in the Middle East, I had the privilege to work alongside him at the university system. which is when many of the stories that Dr. Federick refused to share occurred. And I see former Chancellor Steve Wrigley in the audience, and I think he would file bar complaints if I told those stories now. So I will hold back. But in one sense, a National Guard soldier has a foot in the military world and a foot in the civilian world. In another sense, that dramatically understates the commitment they make and the frequency and intensity of deployments and other obligations. But Colonel Fuchko somehow has always had 2 feet in both worlds. Because while providing decorated service in the Middle East, he was still in regular communication with us back in the office when necessary. That wasn't terribly often because he left his extensive team at the university system, many of whose members I see here in the audience, fully prepared to continue their mission in his absence. And focusing back on his civilian roles, the range of initiatives of significance with long-term impact on higher education in Georgia that Dr. Fuchko has been vitally involved with is way too long to list. Many people in this audience know what they are or have felt the beneficial effects of them. But he knows how to make higher education work. I can't wait to see what he's going to do now that he brings what has been a statewide focus to become a long-term focus on the Dalton State community. And Dr. Fuchko's commitment to service extends beyond his professional service to the university system, his military service to our country, and even family service to his wife and 12 kids. He also has a long record of service in his church and on nonprofit boards within the community. And somehow, along the way, he's also had an unwavering personal commitment to the importance of higher education. Higher education for John is not something that's just for other people. Along the way, he earned the following advanced degrees: an MBA from Georgia State University, a master's in strategic intelligence from the National Intelligence University, a master's in strategic studies from the U.S. Army War College, and then finally, as Dr. Moorhead mentioned, a doctorate in education from the University of Georgia, all while doing all of these other things along the way. In short, I know John Fuchko well, and he has packed more into his 4.5 decades than anyone else I know. And his character exceeds even his accomplishments. John is a man of deep faith, has a rock-solid core of integrity, and models in himself what he expects of others. He is deeply loyal, but he won't play favorites. He is profoundly competent, and yet humble. He knows how to build a strong team, but also how to listen to them and support them. He understands the importance of strategic vision, but he also values consensus and listening to others with dignity and respect. There is no one I could more highly recommend as president of Dalton State College. I am so excited to hear and see how his leadership will bless this community. He is a great leader, but more important than that, he is a good man. Just keep an eye out for bees.
To perform the investiture of President Fuchko, we welcome Dr. Sonny Perdue, Chancellor of the University System of Georgia.
Thank you, and wow, what more could be said? But have no fear, that's not going to stop me. John, from your commanding officer to your civic leaders, to your presidential colleagues, to your USO former staff that work with you, to your family. It's been an amazing story of the person that Dalton has selected as its next president. And I congratulate you. Beginning with the family, Cherie, and those 12 children, wow, that's wonderful. And I think Nell's, his long-term friend, was able to say it. Tricia, there must have been something in the water at Kennesaw between you and Nels And John Fuchko has got quite a legacy in that era at Kennesaw, so congratulations to you all. Not only we got the 12 beautiful children, we've got, you know, being a president takes a family. It takes a real team. And while John's given great service in many of the roles that you've already heard about, and this small army that he has here, he's got other folks there as well. Father and a stepmother, the real John Fuchko and Kathy, and a mother and a stepfather, Linda and Marlo, and a sister, Hannah, and brother and sister-in-law, Francis and Rachel, and in-laws, David and Lynette Lipcomb and Sean Lipcomb. And when your in-laws come, it's really impressive. But I hope I didn't leave anyone out. I did leave someone out, and I want to call her name out because she hadn't been mentioned today. And I want to thank Margaret Venable for the great job she did here at Dalton State College. Margaret, you left. A well-deserved standing O, Margaret. You left Dalton in great stead, and John's going to keep it moving on upward in that regard. So you were here. All the things have been said. I get to do the official part, okay? We're going to make this official, John, and we're here to invest you. It's this ceremony that's been since the Middle Ages has symbolized a commitment to the pursuit of knowledge. It confers the authority and the symbols of high office in the person chosen to lead this institution. More importantly, it gives me and many others you've heard from today an opportunity to tell you why this person who's chosen to lead in one of the best colleges in the South. And I think you've already heard that. I could really stop here. And from the testimonies you've heard from personal friends and all those so many things, John Fuchko is a good, amazing person. It'd be simple to say John's a leader. You've heard the word servant leader many times today, and that's true at home and in all of his other areas, from the military experience and service to certainly academia as well. It starts, of course, with a strong commitment to public service. That's in John's DNA, and it comes out. It's something for the Fuchko family, I think proudly rates back to the Revolutionary War, of a leader, a family of servants in that regard. So also, it's that vision that was talked about. And, you know, the collaboration that John has been, you've heard about, is he's not concerned so much about rank or position. It's about people and getting to know them, the quality of their ideas, and the ability to have a conversation about what they think and why there might be a better way to get something done. So you ask, why does that matter? Because that's what leadership really is. Dalton State plays an important role, as you've heard the civic leaders talk about here, not just in the Dalton community, but all of Northwest Georgia and all of this part of the state, even in Tennessee and Alabama that serve this region as well. It's a great gateway for students to higher education and the regional workforce, something that increases their prosperity and the state's economic development that the governor talked about. Most importantly, I hope you could feel it today. Students don't feel like a number here. They feel like they belong. And that's what we want at all of our institutions, for students to feel like they belong on this campus, that they are road runners, and they're here because people care. The faculty, thank you. The staff, for all of you, for creating a culture of these students that they feel like they belong here, they stay here, and then they go out into the community and create local economic development as well as for Georgia and all around. So thank you all for that you work side by side here in the Dalton State to make it what it is today. It's a gateway for those students that for higher education and for regional workforce, something that increases their ability, their family tree. These first generation students will never be the same for what they learn here and who they become here. And many of us had a chance to experience this from the board, Chairman Reynolds, and thank you other board members that are here today. We experienced this almost 2 years ago when the Dalton hosted the Board of Regents meeting here. The impact of the college and the community was very clear to see. This college provides a broad access to high-quality education that transforms lives. It's ranked number 23 nationally by Business Insider for the best return on investment. That's what parents and that's what a community wants today. They want to know about value. And this institution provides value for those who are educated here. It's one of the top state colleges in the Southeast and proudly one of the most affordable in the nation. As you've heard, it ranks number 1 in the entire country for a student experience. That's a pretty good thing. Students love it here and they want to be here. It's also one of the first institutions in Georgia to receive the federal designation of being a Hispanic serving institution, which has allowed the college to access additional federal funds that help support students in their success. Here on the student campus, listen to this, 50% of the student body are first generation of their families to go to college. Do you know what an impact that is? That's that next level. We call it $1 million deal over a lifetime of career earnings. That's the first step there. And you are changing lives, not only those lives, the families' lives, the children's lives, and the grandchildren's lives for the future. It's got so much going for it. Dr. Fuchko, you're a president who believes and can be so much more of these students and who's willing to work hard to make sure it succeeds by example, as you've heard today. So John spent his life from the time he was in college to now being committed to learning and understanding how important it is to communicate effectively and transparently. And I know, Colonel or General, that his military experience in leading those soldiers has helped in that way. He's a student at Kennesaw, another one of our public institutions here in Georgia. SGA president, a leader there, chairing the Student Advisory Council. He's done the work all along that way. And then he moved on to further jobs, and we laughed and joked about his auditing area and done it with heart and compassion, but also with transparency and accountability in that regard. And I was glad to hear about the president's new President Innovation Fund. He's got a chance now to lead into the future and put his stamp on a college where students know they will see transformational change in their life and expect the college to deliver. As you'll hear in a moment, that's what he's most excited about, to really take this institution forward. John Fuchko is not a person that wants the status quo. He inherited a good deal, but he's going to take it even further in that way, to elevate the work that's already been done here, to build on the traditions, to honor the past, and to challenge the Roadrunner community to think bigger and how they can help each become better. Did you hear that theme today? All those people around John Fuchko, he makes them better. Isn't that what life's really about? From a family, what a powerful testimony from a son to hear about the impact for all the siblings in that regard. And then he thinks about these students as part of his larger extended family, what he can do there in that regard. And there's one thing, maybe you've heard a little bit of implication about this, that I do need to let you know. Dr. Fuchko will probably wish I'd kept this a secret, but do you know your president also happens to be a big Swiftie? Y'all know that? I mean, I know there are challenges that he and his campus community may face from the end, opportunities to grow and improve, because, like Taylor Swift said, I shake it off, I shake it off. Baby, I'm gonna shake it off. Even if you can't sing it, John, I know you feel it. But that work can't be done without help. Oh, John Fuchko, Swiftie. But we're also, as I indicated, grateful for this wonderful Dalton State faculty and staff joining John Fuchko in that journey. Alumni and friends that you've heard about of the institution also play a critical role in supporting the college's success. So thank you, all of you, and hope you're all ready to roll up your sleeves and go to work, because that's what John Fuchko does, and he expects others to work around him. Dr. John M. Fuchko III, leading this institution must be for the benefit of the students, the community, and the state, and you know that. under the governing authority of the Board of Regents. By accepting that responsibility, you're also building a commitment to the college's development of good citizens and future leaders, both for Georgia and for the nation. Now, if you'll join me, seems like you already have.
We're giving out any more secrets.
I mean, he's ahead of me. It's my responsibility to formally invest Dr. John M. Fuchko III with the duties and responsibilities of President of Dalton State College. Now, I was going to say, President Fuchko, would you please join me at the podium? But you're already ahead of me as usual. So I charge you, Dr. John M. Fuchko, as President of Dalton State College, to seek academic excellence and advance the pursuit of knowledge. I charge you always to place foremost in your thoughts and actions the needs of the students, faculties, and staff. Finally, I charge you to protect the interests of Dalton State College and its community, the Board of Regents, and the state of Georgia. President Fuchko, do you accept these charges?
I do.
Well, therefore, by the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, I hereby invest you, Dr. John M. Fuchko, as the 6th President of Dalton State College.
Thank you all so much. I don't like to strike terror into the hearts of people who write speeches. I did write my own speech, and I will speak extemporaneously from my script. I will start with bringing my own greetings to our students, faculty, staff, alumni, and a warm welcome to the Chancellor, his staff, our regents who are present, past and present, our elected officials, foundation trustees, community friends and supporters, fellow presidents and delegates, current and former colleagues at the university system, as well as at Columbus State University, the former and current nonprofits with which I have served, my military colleagues, and my own friends and family, including, I know some of the parishioners from our church and our priest, Father Lewis, who have traveled near and far to be present. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to start by noting something that you maybe already know, which is that Dalton and Northwest Georgia is a beautiful, beautiful place to be and a beautiful region to serve. We moved here over New Year's, and I apologize really in retrospect to our neighbors because all of our kids were making noise at midnight, unloading things, and I could be quiet, but I'm like, the Fuchkos are here, and now, well, I didn't have to tell anybody, we're here. But our family, with that move, I can tell you every morning I'm inspired just seeing the mountains. It lifts the spirit, it lifts the hearts. If you haven't been here, drive out to Wall Street, go towards the town and you'll see Fort Mountain, and then turn around and drive back and you'll see Rocky Face Ridge. You cannot help but feel better and feel elevated in your thoughts and in your spirits with such a beautiful creation. Mark Twain reportedly said, I didn't have time to write you a short letter, so I wrote you a long run. And while that sentiment, I think, first appeared in writing centuries prior, I didn't properly cite this with Turabian or anything else. The fact remains that brevity is both the soul of wit and the terror of the witty, with its demands to simultaneously inform and inspire, to educate and entertain, and to do all of that before the listeners are compelled to exit for a coffee break. But we've been here up here for a little while. We'll keep you just a little while longer. And with that in mind, I will say I have struggled mightily as I thought about what I like to say and how would I like to say it. Do I share my vision for the institution? Do I tell my life story? Well, Chancellor, between Taylor Swift and between Justice Peterson, I think you all have covered the highlights of the life story there.
Thank you. Ultimately, and yes, by the way, I did go to a Taylor Swift concert. It was a Christmas present from my siblings, and I'm very proud of that. I think they also got it for some of my girls too, but they were an afterthought. I got to go to Taylor Swift. But I do know a couple things. First of all, no one's been booed from the stage for too short a speech. As such, I hope that any error in speaking or failure to mention a name in gratitude will be attributed to respect for your time and a desire not to presume upon your patience. Second, I thought it might be most appropriate to share how I think about the enduring things in life that influence my approach to this role, to higher education, to community, and to people. There is nothing wrong and much right about other approaches to speeches. However, my experience tells me that circumstances change, but people rarely do in their essence. So understanding how I tend to think about the role of higher education might be more insightful than outlining a specific plan that we will have to alter and change as the environment dictates and shifts. With that introduction, I will though first really truly feel a debt of gratitude in my soul to so many people, and I would like to begin by sharing some thankfulness. And my order is probably more sequential than it is building to some sort of crescendo with saving the biggest thanks for last or sharing it first. So with that, I'll just start. I want to start with, of course, the Chancellor and the Board of Regents for entrusting me with this most solemn duty of caring for this institution, protecting its interests, and serving our faculty, staff, students, and communities. Trust and time are probably the most precious things we can give, and I do not take such trust lightly. The elected officials present here today, and I believe they've all been recognized, but particularly those you have just heard from, my friends, Justice Bethel, Commissioner Tricia Pridemore, Senator Payne, Representative Carpenter, and Mayor Sams, and I know Justice Peterson also is among the group, but I'm going to save my comments for him for later. Payback. My home state of Georgia and our United States for providing such tremendous opportunity to me and so many others. While not blind to our flaws, I have the rare benefit of having lived overseas. Thank you, Georgia Army National Guard. For almost 2 years of my life, and every time I return with renewed appreciation for where I live and a renewed commitment to making it work better for everyone. This is the greatest country in the world, and this is truly the greatest, from my view, state in that country. So we are blessed to be here. The Georgia Army National Guard, to Jeff Farrell for swearing me into the Guard, to Pete Van Amberg, Brigadier General retired Tim Britt, and Major General retired Larry Ross for giving me my very first opportunity to command as a second lieutenant. I don't know if that was the best idea, but there I was, and it was a great opportunity. To Kenny Lee, now passed away, for the opportunity to deploy to Iraq, and to Brigadier General retired Craig McGalliard, who's here with his wife Lisa, for their great leadership with Kenny Lee of that deployment. To John Rudio and Raquel Durden for the chance to command the company, and to Major General Joseph Wells, retired, for the opportunity to study at the National Intelligence University. To Brigadier General Ted Scott for the opportunity to serve as Battalion S3, and to Pat Watson for the chance to deploy as a Deputy Commander for the 221st Military Intelligence Battalion. To Major General, soon to be Lieutenant General Tom Cardin for both his bringing greetings today, but also to him and Brigadier General Blackstock, who I know is here somewhere, right here, and his wife Kristen, for their amazing support and for giving me the opportunity to command the 221st Military Intelligence Battalion. To Brigadier General John Gentry for the chance to serve as his XO, and to him, Major General Simmons and Major General Cardin for being selected to serve as a senior leader and colonel, and certainly to Major General Wilson and Major General Cardin for the honor to serve twice as a commander at the full bird colonel of the 06 level. I would also like to especially recognize all of the officers and soldiers I've served with, to include my very first Command Sergeant Major, William Darrell Coach Thomas, and my current command teams and staff of the 122nd Regiment. I will note that the color guard that presented the colors today was my own color guard from the 122nd Regiment. We went through a whole process and eventually got tasked to us, and I said, well, if I'd known it was that simple, I would have just given an order in my own name and had them up here. So they're here and they did a great job, and I appreciate them and Kevin Black, who's our DEPCO, and others for that. To those both that I have worked for and those on my team within USG, and there's a lot. To former Chancellor Steve Porch for his mentorship, guidance, and appreciation for Faulkner. To Ron Stark, the late Ron Stark, for recommending me to serve as the Chief Audit Officer for the system. For former Chancellor Errol Davis for giving a callow youth, yes, that was a quote, I was 30 years old, the chance to prove my mettle as the USG Chief Audit Officer. To Shelley Nickel for teaching me to see through what she would affectionately term as a, if you know Shelley, you know what she was probably going to say, and I won't say it here, but we'll say just to get to what's really going on. To Mike Foxman for his loyalty and his spirit, and he's here today with his wife, Valerie. To Wesley Horn for teaching me the value of humility and kindness. To Rose Proctor for showing me what it means to be all in. To Rich Loftus for teaching me the value of being soft-spoken. To Sabrina Thompson, I see Sabrina, for reminding me that sometimes talent is hidden, but that is much more powerful. To Ted Beck for reminding me of the value of humor. To late Chuck Fell for reinforcing the value of research. To the many campus auditors for their support and perspective. To former Chancellor Steve Wrigley for teaching me the power of seeing things as they are from perspectives I had never considered. To the late former Chancellor Huckabee for reinforcing the value of integrity. To Tricia Chastain for her encouragement and gentle yet guiding approach. To Teresa McCartney for reminding me that it is about unlocking the talents of others and not always relying on your own, and for the opportunity to serve as interim president of Columbus State. Thank you, Teresa. And to so many regents, and let me just tell you for a minute, the regents are as the highest paid, unpaid position in the university system of Georgia. These guys don't get paid for public service. They do it because they love our state, they love our students, and they're committed to making it better. And I can tell you there's so many regions. I see some of them sitting right here. Regent Joyner just came up a couple months ago to come visit the campus. They do this on their own time. They take time away from their families to make sure our families are being served. So thank you so much, board members, for your presence, for your support. I also absolutely have to mention, of course, Juanita Irvin, who served as my executive assistant for many years at the system office. And I believe Nancy Marino and her husband Raymond are here, who served as my executive assistant at Columbus State University. Such incredible supporters. And of course, my current executive assistant, Nicole Snyder, who is there at the back and has been such a big part of making today happen. All of them are in the pursuit of the good, better, best across the state, and they do so much to support our students and our state. I will close this part as it relates to the system with noting Chancellor Perdue. I've known Chancellor Perdue somewhat indirectly, I guess, vicariously through Nels Peterson when he served as executive counsel to the governor, even though I do claim credit for the introduction via Paul Beneke and Justin Tomczak. So Chancellor, if he did a great job for you, I take the credit for that. And if he didn't, he's a lawyer. So, sorry, Justice Bethel. But such a tremendous leader, supporter, mentor, and boss. Thank you all so much. I do want to mention just a few other people. And a lot of them are sitting on the front rows, and they're the long marchers here at the university system. There's Haley, who keeps us all in line and was a big part of making today work for all of us. Chris Kidd, Chris McGraw, who served for many years as a colleague. He's also a lawyer. Dang it, I should have. Enough with the lawyer thing. Chris has done a great job. Chief Coverson, who just retired from the university system as the chief of police. Tracy Cook, whose painting is hanging in my office, and whenever I'm convinced I need a budget increase, I take a picture of that and I text it and say, Tracy, remember, I am your favorite. Thank you for your support. Ashley Ruth Jones May, And she earns that, Ruth, in how she lives out her life and her loyalty and her service. Thank you so much. To Dana Nichols is here as well, and of course has been, we've kind of switched roles, right, in some ways, switching that up. So anyway, it's great to have you all present. And I know I've mentioned some of the other ones. I see Nicole and Stephanie and Joshua. There's lots of folks out there that have been a part of it long and near. And Amanda Seals. I see Amanda out there. So Amanda, it's great to have you. To my fellow presidents, thank you all so much. And Ashwani Manga, I believe, is here as well. Did I see Ashwani? Yep, Ashwani. Yep. So we've got, and Scotland Grell, who came in and saved my butt down there at Columbus State on more than one occasion. Thank you for that. To my BDCE Leadership Atlantic class, they were a lot of fun. We had a mandatory orientation, and it just so happened it was on the due date for, I believe, Juliana. Yep, Jules, right over there. And if it tells you anything about my wife, and we'll get to her in a minute, she said, "That's fine. She's in labor. That's fine. Go to the orientation and come back." And I was like, "No, I'm not doing that." And to my credit, gentlemen, I did stay. Like I had a choice, and I thought my wife was slightly crazy, other than she was thinking, "I've had enough of this guy. I want him out of here." But I know some of those folks are here in the audience. Thank you all so very much. The Hope Center and Center for Family Resources staff and fellow board members, thank you all for being here. To my UGA EDD cohort, the Fab Five, as opposed to the Sucky Six that followed. Sorry, Marion. I got to tell a brief story there. I know Russ Keene is here, and sometimes being an Army officer is a burden, and it's particularly a burden when they think you're really good at reading a map. And as an intelligence officer, the infantry guys would say, "Of course you're an intelligence officer, you can't read a map, go back there to your little secret area." But nobody else really knows that, right? These are doctoral candidates. And so there we were in Amsterdam, got off the plane. I'm like, "No, we don't need to take all of this public. I know where we're going." And I'm pretty sure we found the local version of Hell's Angels in Amsterdam. There were bullet holes. I didn't even think they had guns in Amsterdam, but there were bullet holes in the wall. And eventually I said, "You know what, maybe we're going the wrong direction." But I did show the humility to at least not outpace Russ like I outpaced Nels, and we made it back safely. To my many friends and colleagues from Columbus State University in Columbus, Georgia, I know Jimmy Yancey here. I see Tim and Marianne Money are here. Gina, Rocky, yeah, there's a few of our good friends who came up from Columbus, and you all, of course, as I've said before, you got a good prep course, I guess, but you've got a great, phenomenal president and leader, and I'm so grateful to President Rayfield for coming up and sharing words here today. Everybody who spoke today, thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. And to our wonderful new friends here in Dalton and in Dalton State, to the leadership team, and I have to particularly mention Dr. Kate Main and Nicole and Elaine and others for pulling this together. I know she and the other VPs yesterday, late evening, were pulling chairs up and putting stuff up. We're putting our budget to good use, Tracy. We're all pitching in to make things work here. To the deans, to my friends in Rotary, to our wonderful faculty and phenomenal staff, and it's not just something they say, it's something that's true. I can tell you one of the first things that happened when I got here, I'd get emails from faculty members, "This student in my class is having an issue with financial aid, can you take care of it?" And we do it. And that's the sort of faculty member, that's the sort of staff that we have here, that they care, and they care deeply. For those who have spoken and performed such incredible music to soothe our hearts and souls, thank you. Smitty, I know you're back there conducting the orchestra. I appreciate you. To our foundation leaders, and particularly our current chair, Chip Howalt, an incredible group of leaders represented on the foundation board. I so much appreciate this investment in the Innovation Fund. It's a tremendous surprise, and I think will be an investment, but it's an investment in all of us. And I would hesitate to start listing a whole bunch of other names, but I'll just note, you're sitting in the Bandy Gym, which of course the mayor's family are Bandies, but every building on this campus, the Wright School of Business, all of those names mean something, and they mean a lot to this community, and they will continue to do so into the future. To Nels Peterson, Justin Tomzak, and Justin Neal. These are my band of brothers with friendships in the case of Nels going back over 40 years and for both Justins going back over 30 years. They've been true friends and partners in so many ways. More than anyone else, they were there for Cherie and the kids when I've deployed. They've held me to account and accepted my own gentle correction. They give spice and meaning to so much. Thank you. We love you. To my mom for teaching me the importance of attention to detail and hard work. So my parents were both Army officers, and one of my chores growing up was to dust. You ever heard of a white glove inspection? It was real. I thought it was in television shows. And I get to this point, and they had this dresser that had crevices and curves, and it was evil. It was an invention of the devil sent to torture me because I had to dust this dang thing on a regular basis. And they come and be like, oh, you missed a thing. And if she missed one thing, I do the whole thing over again. But it was a good training, right? And it really informed a lot of the ways that I think about work and doing the right thing, but doing it in the right way. To my dad, the real John Fuchko, yeah, you don't have to stand up, for teaching me to break the glass balls and deal with things as they are. To my siblings, I know we've got my youngest brother is here, my sister Abby is here, and his wife, my youngest brother Joseph with his wife, Staff Sergeant Fuchko, with Jack Aurelius Augustine, is that? Yeah, Augustine, yep, Augustine Fuchko, that's quite a long name. But they've got a little catching up to do, but he is younger, and he has more hair, so he'll get there eventually. And to my in-laws, to Mom and Dad, to Daryl and Lynette, thank y'all for being here, for Sean and Chris, and Paul and Sarah Beth, and I'm just so grateful for all of you. To my children and my wife, so I don't usually wear jewelry of any sort, but these are two bracelets that my wife had made for me that has the girls, which I'm wearing a little closer to the heart, and the boys' names all engraved on there. Now, I will tell you, I think there was a method to this madness because I'm quite sure how to even get the stupid things on, but I tell you this, I don't think you can add to it. So I think this was some sort of message like 12 is enough. Come on. 6 and 6, you're balanced. You did audit for a long time. You like balance, right? 6 boys, 6, we're good. But Sasha, JJ, Hannah Grace, Michael, Nicholas, Laura, Ava, Matt, Cece, William, Jules, Nate, and our honorary Alabama daughter, Leah, we're so glad to have you here and supportive. I love y'all so much. They truly do put in a lot. And unlike sometimes when we're running late to church, this morning, like I didn't even have to get them up. They were ready, they were doing their thing. I'm like, wow, this is impressive. So some stuff is running off. And I'm gonna, so I think I can do this, yeah. This is a little jewelry gift from my wife, agreeing to hopefully these all state colors. It's got the silver, blue, and I'll say a little bit more about her. She also will be in robes here in the next couple of weeks. So she did her undergrad at English and Spanish at Kennesaw. She did a master's of public administration there, and she just finished a master's in theology from the Byzantine Catholic Seminary up in Pittsburgh. So we'll be flying up there. Thank you, Chris McGraw, for working your magic to make sure we could do that. Long story. But this is a woman who is a scholar. She's a much better scholar than I am. I can tell you some of my advice to Marion was about getting your dissertation done. I'm like, come on, it'll work. At a certain point, they're going to be tired of you and want you to move along. Just keep going. Like, she kept perfecting her stuff that she's writing. And I'm like, honey, they'll be fine. She's like, no, I got to get this thing right. I'm like, okay, all right. at least that's what she told me she was doing when she was off doing other things. But in addition to bearing and raising 12 children, homeschooling many of them, supporting other people, she's made a lot of other people her family. And so I think probably roughly 10 to 12 years of our almost 26 years of marriage has had people, sometimes family, sometimes not, who have lived with us. And she's been mom to a lot of people who she didn't rightfully have that claim to her, perhaps. Yet she's done it. She's also done it through deployments. And it's a little bit of a thing when you're rolling out the door overseas. And the fellow military officers know it, but who really know it are the military family members who are present here today. You can't really compare it to anything else until you've been through it. So, sweetheart, I love you. Thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for being my wife, putting up with me. Thank you for being a wonderful mother and a wonderful sister and daughter and support to so many people. We love you. And I think my sister Barbara is here. I think I missed her earlier, but she's back there with our two nieces and goddaughters. So good to have them. And then I think I saw somewhere up there Patrick Sheehan walk in. Patrick is the best man for my wedding, came down from Nashville, where he is the head of the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency. So I'm sure he's chasing floods or fires or tornadoes or something, but we appreciate you coming down here. Patrick's an incredible individual. His father was a late father was a two-time Silver Star for Gallantry awardee from the Vietnam War, and he himself is a veteran. And finally, from thanks, and then we'll move on and quickly finish up here, to the Lord who is always faithful, and to those who this week are Jewish friends who are celebrating Passover, congratulations on that. So perhaps some of my gratefulness tells you a little bit about who I am, but let me use just the last few minutes to share a little more deliberately, and I will begin with a quote from Cicero, "Non nobis solum nati sumus." Not for ourselves alone are we born. I believe our highest purpose is served when serving others and putting others' interest above our own. This idea is not original to me. It finds expression in so many situations and traditions. Robert Barron, who in turn was relying on Thomas Aquinas, defined love as willing the good of the other as other. Of course, love of others is the ultimate duty. As a veteran, I know in my bones that what motivates a soldier to risk their life in that moment almost always is saving their combat buddy, their squad, their unit. In other words, doing one's duty is wrapped up in love for the other. I think about the fictional Sidney Carton in Dickens' Tale of Two Cities, who substitute his own person to save a father and husband from the guillotine out of love and says, "It is a far, far better thing that I do that I've ever done. It is a far, far better rest that I go to than I have ever known." Perhaps a theme emerges from this. We are called to do our duty by other people as reflected in willing their good and working towards it. We're more fulfilled when we do so. There's a mental health crisis going on, and many of that is people suffering from significant issues. But I can tell you there's also, to some extent, I think if we could be focused on serving others and loving others, we'd not only would ourselves feel better, we'd be probably in a little better spot, right? We'd be helping other people out. Students, faculty, staff, you might name it. Some of you may recall a life insurance commercial from some years ago talking about the four loves, and the highest love was agape. That's a Greek word, and it's that sacrificial love for other people. If there is a secret, besides Taylor Swift, secretly listening to, and we share the birthday, by the way, and with the National Guard, December 13th, thank you. If there is a secret to any of the things that I've done, it's been that I've striven to truly, sacrificially, and in servant love other people. That's the only secret to leadership. If you love other people, you'll love your faculty, you'll love your staff, you'll love your community, you'll love your students, you'll love your God. You're going to do right things the right way. Now, Kyle Marrero earlier used some math and said I have 3,000 children. That's not actually accurate, and I have the tax returns to prove it. However, I'd like to say I have 5,000 new children with the students here at Dalton State College. Y'all are a tremendous group of leaders. They are over 50% first generation. This is their first experience of college. They're coming from the area. They're also coming from multiple countries. They're staying in the area. They're serving our community, and that's what it's about. So thank you all so much, students, for your support. And so a few thoughts, and then we truly will wrap up. Within this framework, I'll give you some perspectives on principles. First off, leaders are accountable for their area, but are responsible for the whole organization. If you are a leader in this college, it is my expectation that you manage and lead your area, but that you have a college-wide perspective and don't walk away from either problems or opportunities. Doers do what checkers check. I borrowed this from Major General Cardin, and the point is that we must follow through to ensure that critical items have been completed as expected and directed. At the same time, we must place trust in people to get the job done. If you place trust, most people will live up to that trust. 99 times out of 100. Trust is a powerful, powerful thing. Steve Covey writes about that in The Speed of Trust. Measure what matters. Right, Chancellor? Data, metrics, analysis, intelligence all requires the use of judgment and prudence. But as Chancellor Perdue is fond of saying, we're just playing around if we're not keeping score. We will and must use data to inform our decision making and to provide an objective perspective on where we are doing well and where we can improve. Use common sense. If you see a problem, fix it. If you see an opportunity, seize it. Don't let process and procedure trap you or us in a ridiculous outcome. In terms of what business we are focused on, I think I'm going to name 3 things. We must embrace our core curriculum as producing the type of person that makes the ideal neighbor, citizen, leader, and friend who is prepared to lead a good life. Our students have just as much right to the finest traditions of intellectual thought and learning as do any students anywhere. Our majors and our academic programs must unapologetically prepare students for either a career or for graduate school. This means serving as the focal point for supporting our communities, business, healthcare, education, nonprofits, and the arts. In the finest traditions of chemistry, which happens to matter in the carpet capital of the world, we are a catalyst for a better future for everyone with whom we engage and with whom we serve. Moving the needle for our students and for our communities. I would like Dalton State to be a net importer of talent to fuel our communities, our economy, and our culture. With our large Latino population and our over 50% first-generation college students, we have the ability to profoundly impact generations of college students and their families for lives to come. We can only accomplish this with support from everyone, from our students, faculty, and staff, from the BOR, the state of Georgia, from our external partners. But we're not asking for support out of a sense of obligation. We're asking for an investment in Dalton State as an investment in yours and ours collective future. It's an investment with a return reflected in the overwhelming majority of our graduates who come from this community and who return to it to work and to serve as productive citizens. I do have to note, I know we have several former presidents here. I see John Schwinn, I see Margaret Venable. In all of this, I'm building on a tremendous foundation of leaders going back, now as the 6th president, going back with the 5 previous presidents. Dr. Brand did send me a note and is experiencing some health issues, so said he could not be here, but sends his best wishes and regards. With all of this, this has been their commitment for so many years. And in closing, I will note that I think a great measure of value is to maybe think through for just a minute what we would do if something was not there. Imagine if we didn't have automobiles, modern medicine, electricity, and so on. Carpet. Scores of people will be working day and night to invent it. Imagine for a moment if the founders and supporters had not convinced the governor and the Board of Regents to support a junior college being chartered in 1963. What would this community look like? What would this region look like? My guess is that it would be the very first order of business to convince them that we need a college right here, because regions, communities will not thrive without higher education. Thankfully, we are blessed with Dalton State right here, right now, and I am convinced that this is our time to thrive, to grow, and to usher in a next generation who will serve and do so knowing that not for ourselves alone are we born. Thank you all so much for your indulgence and patience. God bless and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Please stand as you are and join in the singing of the Dalton State College alma mater, led by Mrs. Mallory Safely, Dr. Forrest Blackburn, and Dr. Nick Gawecki. After the alma mater, remain standing for the recessional.
See
Ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude our investiture ceremony. We invite you to join us for lunch now at the Pope Student Center. And if you don't know where that is, do not worry. Our ushers up there will direct you to the Pope Student Center, and there will be shuttles taking you to the Pope Student Center as well. I'll be driving one of them, in fact.